Hi friends, out of all the subjects, the subject which plays the most important role in cracking the prelims examination is the subject of environment. If you want to crack the prelims 2024 with ease, then you have to master environment. But the problem is many aspirants they struggle to cover the standard sources on environment because they find them little bit bulky and challenging. So in this video, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to give you the important chapters, important themes and important topics which have been focused by UPSC in the previous years. Guys, my name is Santosh Pandey. I have cracked 6 out of 6 prelims and I have the unique distinction of scoring one of the highest marks in the prelims examination. You can see some of my scorecards. I have scored more than 30 marks than the cutoff, and I can help you crack the prelims examination with ease. So guys, before I give you the important chapters and themes, let me first tell you the important sources. So guys, what you can do is that for environment, you can select any one out of these two books. Both these two books are very good books. You can select any one. Both are same. Both are good. Both are very good books. So guys, let us see what are the important topics and chapters. But before that, what I will do is that I am going to do a little bit PYQ analysis so that you understand how much time you have to give on the static books and how much time you have to give on the current affairs. Guys, you all know that as far as environment is concerned, the number of questions which are coming from the static portion, which are the static standard books, and the number of questions which are coming from the current affairs are basically 50-50. You can see I have taken one case study of 2022 prelims. There were 14 questions, 6 questions were static oriented and 8 questions were current affairs oriented. So you can see here more than 50% of the question are current oriented. Therefore, if suppose you have 100 hours to prepare environment, then guys, at least 60 hours you have to give to your current affairs. I'm just giving one case. I'm just giving one explaining with 100 hours. You can like see how much time it will take for you. It varies from person to person. Just 60% of the time you have to give to current affairs, particularly in environment, science and tech and IR. The number of questions from the current affairs are more. Many candidates, what mistake they do is that they invest a lot of time in the static books and they do not have the time for sparing on the current affairs. So do not make that mistake. Have a balance between current affairs and static. So let us start with the very first chapter. So guys, what you can do is that you can just keep on listing down the important topics from every chapter. So you can see here chapter 1, ecology. So UPSC has asked question on some basic concepts like what is the meaning of ecosystem. Then UPSC has asked questions on terms like ecotone, what is niche, what are biomes. Here you in this book they have given the types of biomes. So please do read this table of biomes. So the first chapter is an important chapter. It's a basic chapter but important for the prelims examination. UPSC has asked 1 or 2 questions from this chapter. Coming to chapter 2, which is functions of an ecosystem, here also there are few important topics. For example, energy flow, trophic level, food chain, food web. UPSC has asked question on food chain a lot of times. Then ecological pyramids, then pollutants and trophic level. Here the number of questions which have come on the topic of bioaccumulation and biomagnification are relatively more. So you need to prepare this concept very in depth. Next, type of biotic interaction is also very common in UPSC. Then the biogeochemical cycle, it's very important. You need to prepare all the different biogeochemical cycles. And last but not the least is the concept of ecological succession. So this chapter also I would like to request you need to read the entire chapter carefully. Very important chapter. Next, let us move to aquatic ecosystem. In aquatic ecosystem, the 3 aquatic ecosystem, which is coral reefs, mangroves and wetlands, very important. Every year at least 1 question out of 3 will definitely be there. Other than that, eutrophication and algal bloom is also very important. Coming to chapter 5, which is environmental pollution, it's a VVIP chapter. In this, the most important is the air pollution. In the last 3 years, Every year there has been one question on air pollution. Next is the concept of acid rain. They can ask you. Even smog is also very important. Then water pollution, dissolved oxygen, BOD, COD, oil spills, very important for prelims 2024, oil spills. Next, light pollution is becoming very important. Radioactive pollution, e-waste is a popular theme in UPSC prelims examination. Plastic waste is an emerging and a contemporary topic. Next, bioremediation, very important, particularly in the context of the legacy waste, bioremediation. Next, you can see in environmental issues this year, Indian Himalayan region, very important. The concept of carrying capacity is very important in this. Next, this year, man-animal conflict is also very important. And the most important topic in this chapter is the genetic engineering, which is the GM mustard. Because of GM mustard, this is very important. Next, in chapter 9, biodiversity, the entire chapter is very important. Please do read the entire chapter, particularly this red data book, biodiversity, measurement of biodiversity, then conservation of biodiversity, in situ, ex situ, in situ, ex situ, very important. Next, in Indian biodiversity, you can read what are algae, fungi, bacteria, lichens, all these things. You can just have a look at it. Not that important, sometimes questions are there. Next, chapter 12 is very important. Critically endangered species, migratory birds. Then chapter 13, not that important, just have a look at it. Here, invasive species is an important topic. Next, you can see chapter 14. In chapter 14, again, not very important chapter, just have a look at it, the phytoplanktons, etc. Next, this is a very important chapter, chapter 15. Definition of all protected areas. What are wildlife parks? What are wildlife sanctuaries? What are community reserve? Every year, one question definitely on this topic. This is a very, very important chapter. Next, even sacred groves, coastal protected areas also come under the protected areas. Biosphere reserve, again a very, very important topic. Every year, at least one question on biosphere reserve you will get. Next, chapter 16, conservation effort. Again a VVIP chapter. Project Tiger, Project Elephant, Project Vulture, Great Indian Bustard. Then integrated development of wildlife habitat, species recovery program. You can see snow leopard, bustards, dolphins, hangul, Nilgiri tahar, marine turtles, dugongs. All these species are important. You should know their IUCN status and how they, which schedule they are there in the Wildlife Protection Act. Very important. Many people are confused which species to prepare. At least prepare these species. Next, you can see climate change, again an important chapter here. Greenhouse effect and greenhouse gases are very important, particularly methane and fluorinated gases. Next, black carbon is also very important. Then ozone depletion is important. Next, ocean acidification, just prepare what are the causes of ocean acidification and how we can mitigate it. Next, in mitigation strategies, carbon sequestration, very, very, very important. Carbon sink, very important. Carbon credit, carbon offsetting, carbon tax, geoengineering, all are very important. Chapter 21 is a very important chapter. Chapter 21 is a very, very important chapter. Next, you can see chapter 23. Guys, from here, what I have observed, okay, from here, what I have observed, mostly questions will be current oriented. Questions will be current oriented. Okay. So in organizations, generally the focus will be current oriented organizations. So you can have a look at them. I'm not saying that do not read this. You should know basics of UNFCCC, Kyoto Protocol, Paris Agreement, important COPs, RED Plus, Climate Smart Agriculture, TEEB, Climate Finance, UNCBD. But mostly if you observe and analyze last 10 years question, you'll see the most of the questions are current oriented. Then guys, in agriculture, chapter of agriculture, every year you are getting 1 to 2 questions. 1 to 2 questions from the chapter of agriculture. Very important. Here the theme is sustainable agriculture. So permaculture, crop rotation, cropping types, etc., etc. Next, Again, every year one question from this chapter: environmental acts and policies, particularly Wildlife Protection Act, then Environment Protection Act, then Biological Diversity Act. See, last year there was one question on this. Then you can see in 2022 there was one question on this and this. Okay, so there were two questions from this chapter in 2022. Next, we see, guys, if you want to solve questions on these topics, guys, in our lecture test, I have prepared around 300 to 400 questions on all important topics of environment. So all these topics have been covered. All these static topics have covered in our test. Coming to, you can see here, coming to the other chapters, we can see here chapter 26, institution and measures. Here, National Wildlife Action Plan, CAMPA, Joint Forest Management, Social Forestry. So at least CAMPA you should definitely read. Next, chapter 27, you can see here. Here, National Biodiversity Authority, you should definitely read. This also you can just go through. Then chapter 28, in chapter 28 you have the environmental conventions, UNCED, CBD, Nagoya Protocol, Ramsar, CMS, traffic, then Stockholm, Kigali, Minamata, etc. etc. So here also you see mostly questions are current oriented, but sometimes they can ask basics also, but generally questions are current oriented. So guys, these were some of the important chapters and important topics. Again, I repeat that if you analyze the questions of the UPSC prelims examination in the last couple of years, more than 50% of the questions are current oriented, particularly in climate change, international convention, environmental laws and bodies. These chapters, which are the chapters which are at the end of these books, generally questions are current oriented. So here I would like to tell you that I am coming out with my Optima notes on current affairs of environment of last 1 year. Very high quality compilation, I have not left any topic which is important and which is there in news in last 1 year. Very comprehensive, very useful. Please do read the Optima current affairs of environment. It will be very high quality. So with this standard book and the topics which I have highlighted here, plus the Optima notes, I can guarantee you most of the questions in the prelims examination you will be able to solve very easily. With this, I would like to end here. Again, I would like to make a request. Please subscribe my YouTube channel and share this video with your friends. And if you consider this video worth, then please do consider liking this video also. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.